Thank you, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Krapyun from True Internet Data Center, part of True Group. I suspect that the reason I'm here is that someone wrote this new regulation, maybe since a couple of years ago, that any telecom or IT conference has to have one session on cloud computing. So I'm the lucky guy who gets to do it this time. Another reason is that, according to Gartner at least, cloud computing is still in the top 10 of the strategic technologies for this year. It's been on this list for at least 3 years that I know of. In Thailand, although cloud computing is very small, True is one of the first, if not the first, to offer this to the public through our partner, Power All Networks. For about 2 years, we've been trying to stimulate this market. We work closely with Software Park to try to get the local software developers to program for cloud computing and be ready to sell their software in this new era. Ever since then, some competitors have started to provide cloud computing. There are about 6 now, including CAT, TOT, and a few others. I'll give you their names later. Most of our customers today are SMEs, but recently we've been getting a lot of inquiries from big corporations as well, and then also multinationals with branches in Thailand. In the future, starting from this year, the Thai government will be a big user of cloud computing. There's an e-government agency, the EGA, that has, I think, issued some TORs to purchase quite big capacities of cloud computing. And True is also one of the potential suppliers for that. And there will be more and more local providers coming up, and of course also global providers with all the new activity around Indochina, getting ready for the ASEAN Economic Community. I think many other multinational cloud providers will come into Thailand as well. A little bit of background. True Internet Data Center is a joint venture between True and LG U+, or LG Group of Korea. We have 2 data centers, both tier 3 sites. One is the northern part of Bangkok metropolitan area, or Nonthaburi, and the other is at True Tower in sort of central Bangkok, Ratchada Pisek Road. Although cloud computing has been around for many years, the definition keeps getting revised. I think the final version just came out late last year by the National Institute of Standards and Technology of the US. And basically what it says is, I'm not going to read it to you. I'm sure you can get this from the organizer's website. But the key characteristics which really make cloud computing very convenient and stands out and it differentiated from virtualization is that it has to be on-demand self-service. If companies sell you cloud computing but said they need 5 days to install it or something like that, it's not really cloud computing. And it has to have broad network access. The resource has to be pooled. It can't be just from one server. There has to be rapid elasticity. You should be able to ramp it up and scale it down pretty much instantaneously or within a few minutes. And it has to be measurable. You can buy it. For us, we sell it by the day, just because customers in Thailand don't really want by the hour or by the minute. but we can actually measure it like that, but we sell it by the day or by the month, whatever the customer prefers. And there are 3 service models of cloud computing. One, I think all of you use is software as a service. That would include things like Gmail, Facebook, a lot of the everyday things you do, which connects you to the cloud somewhere in the world. That would be software as a service, including Salesforce, CRM, for example. And then there's platform as a service. Basically, this is used by companies or developers who want a sort of in-the-box development platform for them to deploy or develop their applications. And then there's the very basic infrastructure as a service, which is probably the bulk of True IDC's revenue in cloud computing right now. It's just the basic virtual machine or virtual server and virtual storage. And because cloud computing is new to Thailand, we also help the customers to hold their hands to deploy their applications. Although we don't charge any money for this, I think there's a lot of value in this hand-holding, and I think that's why we get a lot of requests for our cloud computing service today. This is the basic diagram. Now we have the resource pools in both data centers. We have, through our partner, Power On Networks, we have a web portal. And you can go through the web portal, or you can contact our sales, either way. If you go through the web portal, it actually allows you to buy the service and just use your credit card, but Thai customers still want to have an invoice and things like that. They want to know what they're paying. So most local customers actually come to us to sign an application form. On top of the infrastructure as a service, we also provide some software. For example, people who are concerned with security can opt to buy security from Trend Micro. Those who want backup and DR can buy DoubleTake for that. And then for monitoring, we use SolarWinds. And then we have other partners. The big one is Microsoft. If you want Windows 2003, 2008, if you want other Microsoft products, we have a service provider agreement with Microsoft, so we can sell you pretty much anything that they have on the cloud. And also we have Software Park, which is the local agency that supports local software development, and they help us to get software developers to come and sell their software as a service on our cloud infrastructure. On here it says local SaaS partner. Now we have, I think, probably more than five partners now. But when you go to their website, you may not know that they're on the cloud, because some people are still reluctant to say where they're hosted at. But some of our partners do have our logo on their website. The basic concept for us is just we want to match what Amazon has at the basic level. So whatever pricing Amazon charges, we try to match them. And they've been lowering their prices every few months. But the cheapest you can buy from us right now, I think, is comparable to what you can get from Amazon, which is 21 Thai baht per day. That's about 70 cents, 70.7 US dollars per day. and that's about what, $20 per month. So it's quite cheap comparing to the traditional way that you have to buy a server and install software and buy an outright license. This is very cheap if your business is still small and you're not sure which way it's going to go. Cloud computing definitely is very, very flexible, very beneficial for the small guys. Like I said, we also have the Windows option, which is a little bit more expensive. The cheapest one for the older Windows version is 55 Thai baht per day, or 1,650 baht per month. And then, depending on your application, if at first you buy a plan A, it's sort of slow for you or your customers, you can increase to a plan B or plan C, or you can buy more RAM or more storage. It's very flexible. Right now, we have limited free trial for new customers who just want to try the product. We give, I think, about a 4-week or 1-month free trial. Right now, there are about 50 customers doing that. And then the other 62 customers are paying customers. And the growth rate is quite good. We grow at double-digit percentages every month, not every year, every month. So it's it's a small revenue earner compared to our co-location business, but it's quickly growing. And in terms of what the customers use the cloud computing for, half of them use for their web applications, web servers, web services. I think this is also true for any new IT technology. I think you try it with what's not critical first. So I recommend everyone to also do this. Try it with what's not critical and learn from the mistakes, because the mistakes won't be costly. And then when you get better at it, then move on to more and more applications. I think there's a slide in here that says actually, eventually, virtually or practically all applications can be in the cloud, and probably will be someday. And then there are customers who use it for video streaming, for games, and for their web applications. One thing that we're quite proud of is when there was a big flood in Thailand last year, we were able to help out by providing free cloud computing resources to some agencies and some companies who provided information so that people could get almost real-time information about the flooding. I think there's a slide back here. Okay, one of them is trafi.in.th. This is a website from the National Electronics and Computing Technology Agency of Thailand, and their campus was heavily flooded, and so they knew that we had the cloud computing service, so they moved their application from their physical servers onto our virtual servers, and within a few hours they were up and running, and they could provide the traffic and the water level in the streets and the canals. This website has a lot of CCTV footage, real-time, almost real-time. It's updated like every 10 minutes around Bangkok. So people can actually see which streets have water, which streets are dry, and also check whether the canals near their homes are about to be flooded or not. And another one, this is actually by a private sector company who is kind enough to do this for the public good. They set up a web service whereby you could submit your information through your mobile phone. So if you're, let's say, on Sukhumvit 19 and the water level is to your ankle, you can input that data, and then everybody who goes to this website can know that, okay, at this spot the water level is at ankle deep level. And then this is another government agency. We're working with them to more towards the future, whereby if heaven is unkind to us again and we get another flood, then we'll be much more ready because we'll have all the backup and disaster recovery solutions in place. The local cloud provider, I don't want to name them all because I haven't really requested that the approval. So I mentioned CAT because CAT is here, and I think CAT is also the sponsor of this event. So just to give them a little bit of advertising, that CAT is also doing public cloud computing, and some of the others. Each one is quite different, so we're not really competing head to head. Some are more geared towards the certain industries, some are SMEs, or some towards government enterprises. And each actually has different technology and cater to different kinds of OS or applications on top. And then this is just to show you that the e-government agency has quite big plans for cloud computing. They have all kinds of services that I'm sure they will try to put as many on the cloud as possible. Because even the US government has big plans to reduce a lot of their IT OpEx using the cloud. I think in the hundreds of billions of dollars of savings that they've estimated. Lastly, to pave the way for the future a little bit, this is one of the companies that predicted trends for cloud computing for this year, CSC. One of the things they say is that, of course, there'll be growth of mobile cloud now with Apple iCloud and Dropbox, Evernote, and all these companies. Everything will be more convenient when you can store your family photos up in the cloud and not have to worry about where you're going to store it, or whether when you change your phone or where your phone is lost, that the photos will go with them. And then in your company, I hope your IT managers are permitting you to use your iPad or your Galaxy Tab or whatever to access your email, because for me that's very, very convenient to have everything on one device and not have to boot it up or switch between applications, just using one device to do everything and get the personal email as well. And then, of course, everyone is concerned about security. Like I said, we now work with Trend Micro, but we're also in the process of concluding deals with other security firms because each firm has different solutions that appeal to different market segments. And I think everyone will want the security that's just right for them, and it's more a case-by-case basis than one single approach for everyone. And the future of telecom, I think, is also not just in people-to-people communication, but also in machine-to-people, people-to-machine, and machine-to-machine communication. So smart buildings, smart grids, these will generate so much traffic and so much data that there'll be usage of this data in the cloud that we maybe today can't imagine what's going to happen. But I'm sure right now even companies like BMW, who once didn't have any data centers, now plan or already have built big data centers because there'll be so much information from their cars that they would want to use it for not only their customers, maybe even sell it back to telecom operators someday. And then the last trend is that everyone has to stick their head into the cloud, because in the future, not only is it here to stay, but so much will be happening in the cloud that you don't want to miss it. And time's up. Thank you very much.